Hey everybody, it's pop-up Wednesday night. I had to think about that for a minute. I just got in from New York City. Before I say anything, in all seriousness, my heart goes out to the victims of the fires of the apartment complex in London, where it appears that it was completely avoidable had the owners of the building listened. Those families in grieving. My heart goes out to the families of the UPS employees who were murdered in cold blood. I see you all signing on here, by the way, Dominique Sims and others. I'll acknowledge you in a minute. My heart goes out to those UPS who were murdered in San Francisco earlier today. My heart goes out to the members of the congressional staff and the congressman who was shot in cold blood this morning in Washington, D.C., in Virginia, I believe, and those who are associated with that, and the families that are grieving, and the protection officers who were shot trying to protect them. My heart goes out to all those families today. So let me now get into the message for today. I'm John Hope Bryant, founder, chairman, and CEO of Operation Hope. Hey, Norris Kruger, how are you? Good to see you online with us. I want to thank the 30 million people who view these videos and the almost 300,000 who are following this page, which is a page about promise and prosperity and positivity and possibilities. But the first thing we have to do before, hey Chaz, first thing we have to do before we can deal with the positivities and get you out of the negative space. We got to get you out of the anger. We got to get you out of surviving so we can get you into thriving. And so as chairman, founder, and CEO of Operation Hope, Brian Group Ventures, as an author, a thought leader, some would call, an advisor to several presidents, the last 3 presidents, honored by the last 5. I know a little bit about decision making. I know, coming from South Central and Compton, California, I know a little bit about coming from nothing. Hey Adil, hey Jericho from Samoa. That's a long way. Signing in, thank you. Hey Francois. I want to deal with this one word. Hey Calvin Warner from Palm Bay, Florida. I want to deal with this one word, anger. This is a one word series. You haven't watched my one word from this weekend when I dealt with the one word of focus, then you should watch that after you watch this. Anger. What happened today with the UPS tragedy in San Francisco is focused on somebody's anger, the result of somebody's anger and someone's depression. What happened in Virginia with the man who really lost his life before he ever took anybody's life, tried to take somebody's life, is because of anger. He was hopeless long before he picked up a gun to try to take somebody's life. What happened with so many of these terrorists, most recently in Europe, who are strapping on belts to kill others, because innocent people, because they're too much of a punk to just take their own life. That's all. Sorry, I have to send a message to somebody. That's all anger, and none of that leads to anything positive or sustainable. Let me tell you some other examples of anger that's more practical, that also will be instructive. And I want you to put this aside. Black Lives Matter had good intentions and meant well, came out of, and when you look at the way they positioned themselves, many times it was rooted in anger. And we should have said Black Lives Matter 2, by the way, not just Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter 2. It had the same effect, and we should have had everybody involved in this conversation versus saying that white people are somehow our problems. And what you do is you give license to other people. When you say we are right and you are wrong, you give them license to be against you. And that in many ways sets up the situation for the election in November, where a lot of folks say, you ain't for me, I'm not for you. Then bunk all that. We're tired of black, brown, diversity, whatever. Now we want a white nation again. But look at which is crazy talk too. But look at the animosity that creates. I want you to stop talking about revolution and start talking about evolution. I want you to understand that Black Lives Matter too. Same topic, same objective, same goal, but talk without being offensive, listen without being defensive, and always leave your adversary with their dignity. There are people who have run for president, given that I name Black Lives Matter. I guess I have to say this too. The problem I have with President Donald Trump is his incivility. It's his incivility. It's the fact that he fomented hate and fomented incivility and woke up really folks who were repressive, depressed, angry, who were kept in a bucket of maturity by adults in the room who up until that point said this is not the right behavior, this is not the way to behave, this is not the way to be a civilized society. And so for a long time, mature leaders said this is not the way that mature people behave. And no different than how people stopped smoking in the 70s and 80s. They didn't stop smoking because somebody said you're wrong for smoking. Intelligent, smart, thoughtful, educated people just stopped smoking, and successful people didn't smoke so that people who wanted to be successful stopped smoking. It's culture that changed smoking. And the way we've awakened racism and awakened into really civility and awakened anger and separate sort of views of the world is that our so-called leaders have given endorsement, have given license to nutty, immature 3-year-old thinking. Like I'm somehow better than you, or somehow my neighbor is not somehow my problem. Somehow immigrants are the problem, when in reality, that 9 out of 10 jobs in America have been killed through automation, not immigration, in the last 10 years. That is a fact. Go to the Hope Global Forum's annual meeting, watch Richard Edelman give a report on trust in the world, and you will see, yeah, Lucille Race, that's right, that's a while. You will see a factual report that shows that while we've been talking about in these elections that immigrants are our problem, immigrants are our problem, immigrants are our problem, immigrants are our problem, thus pitting black people against white people against black people, white people against like Mexicans, and all this kind of craziness. Supposedly those Hispanics and those Mexicans and those other people are somehow killing our jobs and taking our jobs. In reality, 9 out of 10 jobs, this is a fact, die because of automation, not immigration. Which means that even if the Hispanic guy did not get the job working in the fields, which you didn't want anyway, by the way, or working in the factory at a fraction of your pay, which you wouldn't have done anyway, those factory jobs weren't coming back anymore. Anyway, those jobs, when those factories return in the next iteration of manufacturing, it'll be through automation and robotics, not through human beings, which means you wouldn't have got that job in any case. What you need to do is go get retrained. Don't blame your brother for taking a job you didn't want. Go get retrained in technology and automation so you can get that next level of jobs that actually pays a living wage. Can I get an amen? Chaz Scott, why people think coal is coming back. Coal is not coming back. Thank you, Chaz. It is not. Ashley Forte says, yeah, coal is not coming back. But this is what fear does to you, and anger. Fear and anger. So I just gave you a black example of anger. I gave you a white example of anger. I'm giving you an election example of anger, which is, I gave you a terrorist example of anger. I gave you people who are depressed or stressed and don't value their life, who take other people out in the midst of their own pain. I gave you that example of anger. Wesley Mumford says truth. JL, amen. I can take you all the way. Hitler was angry, an angry child who wasn't loved as a child, whose mother died of cancer at the hands of a Jewish doctor, even though the doctor was trying to save her. The treatment for cancer back then was very painful, and all he saw was his mother dying at the hands of a Jewish doctor, even though his friend growing up was a Jew. And he took that madness into his adulthood and decided that Jews were his problem and started trying to kill Jews. And 6 million people died because of his neurosis because of his anger. Terrell Barnes says, teach hard, my brother. Anger never solves anything. You want to make a bad decision? Make a decision in anger. You want to make a bad decision? Make a decision emotionally, in anger. You want to grow old early? Make a decision in anger. Live your life in anger. Black Panther movement, civil rights movement, did not like what Dr. King was doing. Most black leaders were only talking to black folks about their anger. It was really Dr. King, an optimist and a positive leader who was about what he was for, not what he was against, who was the only black leader talking to white America and everybody else about the pain of black America, trying to bring everybody into the movement. But it was the Black Panther movement who stood next to Dr. King in order to get attention for what they were doing, and then said, hey, black power, we deserve to be angry. Let me ask you a question. What did that produce? Did it produce any legislation? Nope. Hey, Lucille Reese. Hey, Jeremiah Nesmith. Did it produce 1 ounce of legislative legal change of the repressive tactics of racist white folks in the South in the 20th century to help us change our lives, or was it just public therapy? Would you like me to give you the answer? It produced nothing. It was the thoughtful, reflective, strategic, non-emotional, non-angry thought of Andrew Young, working with Dr. King, working with Dr. Dorothy Height, and all those leaders, heroes and sheroes, John Lewis, who were strategic in their engagement, working with rational people from all walks of life who wanted change, that created not 1 piece of legislation, not 2 pieces of legislation, not 3 pieces of legislation, but 4 pieces of legislation in the civil rights movement. Anger would have destroyed all of that progress. They would have won battles and lost wars. They would have rearranged the deck chairs on the Titanic. They would have succeeded by being emotive and by patting on their chest and failed at everything else. In fact, hurt people. So actually, if you think about all those who were in the Black Power movement, the Black Panther movement, and the Black Power movement, most of those guys died of hypertension, diabetes, heart attacks, stress, and strokes in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Almost none of them lived long, peaceful lives, and more so, they didn't produce any results for their constituency, which is really the point. When you live a life in survival mode versus in thriving mode, your constituency, your population that you are serving will take speeches and chest pounding and fist pounding as results in action, but that produces nothing but a storm. It doesn't make your life any better. Can I get an amen? Anger doesn't feed your family. Can I get an amen? Anger doesn't pay your mortgage payment. Can I get an amen? Anger doesn't pay your car note. Can I get an amen? Anger doesn't help you get a job. Can I get an amen? Anger does not help you get a mate. Can I get an amen? In fact, your mate, if they're worth anything, will run away from somebody who's living, loving, and operating in a state of anger. In fact, anger is exactly why that woman is getting repressed, distressed, and beat up in that household with domestic abuse, because that black man or that white man or that Latino man or that Asian man is angry at their own life and taking it out on that woman. Can I get an amen? Terrence Roy says amen. Natalie Hernandez, amen. Anger never solves anything but to hurt people. I guarantee you hurt people. In fact, misery loves company. That's what I guarantee you. If you are a miserable person, you will spread that to everybody else. And now you've affected everybody else with your pain. But you aren't producing any progress. I tell people all the time who want to criticize me and what I'm doing. Sean Smith, amen, 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 amen. I like what I'm doing much better than what you're not doing. Somebody would watch this video and say, well, John, aren't you being angry right now? No, loves. I'm being passionate. I'm being focused. Tamara Brown, speak the truth. I'm being purposeful. Hey, Chaz. I'm being practical. I can stop when I'm talking. I can start when I'm talking. I can tell you the pauses between my words. I have complete control over my diction, and I have complete control over my position, because I am not operating from a place of emotion or anger, but practical knowledge, passionately dispatched, focused on a goal of improving your life. Boom. I had to tag 5 people, Festus said. Thank God. Layla, John's telling the truth. So, anger, whether you're a politician or a protester or a pimp, is not the answer. And our president, who I will respect as an elected leader, needs to learn a new tune, because he thought he was winning battles. He wasn't even doing that. He's really, it's not even working for him as a strategy, because karma's real. Whatever goes around comes around. Do I wish him any harm? No, I wish him well. Because I need for him to succeed now that he's in office, because if he succeeds, we succeed. If he fails, we fail. I don't have to like it, but as long as he's in that spot, I need him to stop setting himself on fire, because he's setting us on fire with him. And he's unleashing a environment of hate and intolerance, which then immature 3-year-olds in the body of a 40-year-old person who calls himself a man but really a punk is going to pick up a gun or a knife or a fist and try to settle their scores with their own depression, their own insecurities, their own lack of love, their own fear, their own childhood trauma, or their own lack of aspirational success on somebody else. They're going to try to take out the fact that they're miserable and are living miserable lives on somebody else. Because hurt people, what did I say? Hurt people. What did I say about anger? When you're rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. The ship is sinking and you're picking drapes. When you are angry, a reaction looks like a response. Did you get that? I'll repeat that. I want you to write this down. When you're angry, a reaction looks like a response. But it's not. A reaction is, something happened to you, and before you know it, you've messed up your whole life. You've hit somebody because they set you off. Let me tell you something. Once you love yourself, once you understand yourself, once you accept yourself, once you embrace yourself, once you have comported yourself and decided to own yourself, nobody can hurt you but you. What did Reverend Murray say? Reverend Cecil Chip Murray. Sean loved that quote. It's not what people call you. It's what you answer to that's important. And never answer out of your name, John Hope Bryant, is what he told me. And then I answered to him, and to argue with a fool proves there are two. So let me tell you what I mean by that. This is what happens when you're not angry. You can call me a boy. I'm not responding. You can call me a punk. I'm not responding. You can call me a spick. I'm not responding. You can call me a nigger. I'm not responding. You can call me a coon. I'm not responding. You can call me an Uncle Tom. I'm not responding. By the way, if a coon or Uncle Tom created as many homeowners and entrepreneurs and small business owners and a few millionaires on blocks across America like I have, then you need a coon and an Uncle Tom on every corner. How you like me now? Remember, they called Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther Coon. Uncle Tom, sellout and wannabe, and those were his so-called friends calling him his name. And when he won the Nobel Peace Prize and tried to give the prize money, $10,000 each, to 10 different non-profit organizations in the movement with him, who were not on the stage with him in Norway to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, when he tried to acknowledge them by sending them the money, they accepted the money and never said thank you. They never even sent a cable back to say, thank you, Dr. King. They resented him so much for being so popular when they weren't, for getting credit for being a great orator and a great leader when they were less capable in that way, versus applauding him and saying, bravo, we're with you, we're proud of you, brother. It was player hating because they were depressed, distressed, and upset, so they were upset with him, versus embracing him and loving him, became crab in the barrel. They never even said thank you. But see, he stayed positive. He didn't allow himself to get angry. He stepped over mess and not in it. The world remembers him and doesn't remember all that other drama. Don't remember all the people who hated on him. Back to the point. So you can call me boy, punk, spick, nigga, wannabe, coon. What you can call me. Here's what I say to folks like that. I like what I'm doing much better than what you're not doing. How many homeowners have you created? How many small business owners have you created? Hey, JL, priest, I'm wearing your bracelet that you made. I think this one's called Calm. I'm staying calm today. Thank you. One of my Hope is in the Box success stories. and this some black Africans made this in my motherland of Africa, and I wear one of these every day. How many small business owners have you created? How many young people have you mentored this week? How many interns have you created this week? Or how many folks have you helped to get through college? I've got my own scholarship named after me at least 2 universities. We have 3 million clients at Operation Hope. We have 30,000 volunteers. How many folks have you helped other than yourself, or are you just running your mouth? You see, criticism is an easy sport. That's what anger does to you. It makes you a professional critic. But you've got to decide what you're for, not just what you're against. See, when you are focused on your purpose and your passion, then you know what you're for. When you focus on your anger and your passivity, then you know what you're against. So it's okay if you don't like me. I like me. Hello. And when you are comfortable in your own skin, you have something to give. You're not focused on what you get. And when you're not angry and when you're full of love for the world, you don't age. You age gracefully. You laugh at everything. You can smile at the world. You can take the world seriously. You never take yourself too seriously. You then realize that you're not as good as your compliments. You're not as bad as your critics. You just are who you are. You're not angry at the world because you're not angry at yourself. Are you getting it? Rosalind says, stay productive and stay positive. Anger is a problem. That's why I keep telling my black brothers and sisters, don't get angry, get even. Don't hit them with a brick. Hit them with that American Express black card and knock them the heck out. You know, I call this my Oprah card. That's my Oprah card. That's my Oprah card. I don't need to scream, holler. I don't need to brag. I don't need to boast. I don't need to beat on my chest. No. When I need some justice and some fair play and a level playing field, I just walk into a restaurant or a car dealership or wherever, and I just throw that on the counter and just say, I'll take it. And know I can pay the bill at the end of the month. When you got the power, you don't need to use it. Over mess, not in it. You don't get angry, get even. Don't get focused on your survival skills. Get focused on your thriving skills. Love thyself. That's right. I forget who said that. I see Chad saying true, Scott. Chad Scott saying true that. Are you getting this? I got to wrap this up in a minute. But are you getting this? Let me know that you're understanding how destructive. Oprah just bought BET. Is that right? Rosalind Strother. Is that right? Somebody confirm that for me. That's deep if that's true. Hope Fife, one of our great counselors. I love what I'm doing much better than what other folks are not doing. Todd Wright, I appreciate your energy. So I'm not saying that you don't have a right to be angry. I'm saying it's not going to get you anywhere. I'm not saying that black folks in particular don't have a right to be absolutely pissed off. I'm saying it's not going to get you anywhere. I'm saying that minorities and women, it's not that you don't have a right, that the playing field is somehow not level. It's not level, and you do have a right, but it's not going to get you anywhere. I'm saying that these folks who took other folks out today, that their legacy will always be someone who's a punk, who is a scourge on this earth. Everybody associated with them, everybody who knows them, everybody related to them will be ashamed to be associated with them. James Jake Brown said, I needed this tonight. You stepped in mess, you didn't step over it, and you have stained your name. There's no dignity in that. I'm saying that nothing through anger survives. Stalin did not survive. Osama bin Laden did not survive. Saddam Hussein did not survive. Hitler did not survive. All these terrorists, no one's going to remember them. They are on the trash bin of history. And I hate to see the conversation you're going to have with God when you get there. But making big dreams real and living for something larger and more important than yourself, that's what survives. I love you. And Chaz said, get that 700 credit score. That's right. Because once you get that 700 credit score, nobody can deny you anything. It's not about white, black, red, brown, or yellow. It's about having some more green. Can I get an amen? This is the civil rights movement. I want to do one word on anger tonight. I hope this was helpful to you. I'm about to sign off. I actually have other things to do tonight, if you can believe that, because I'm passionate about what I do, and I'm focused on my purpose and my passion. If you want me to talk about other things in the one-word series, put the one word in the comments, and I will select some of those words. Hey, Joyce, amen, for a future broadcast. It's amazing how much you can encapsulize in one word. I want you to understand this. Rainbows only follow storms. You cannot have a rainbow without a storm first. Loss creates leaders. That's from my book, Love Leadership. Loss creates leaders. So life is 10% what life does to you, and 90% how you choose to respond to it. What's your response going to be? Watch this video over and over again. Go back and then watch the video on Focus I did over the weekend. Credit score 810, Lucille. God bless you. That's fantastic. That loss creates leaders and rainbows only follow storms. That only through constructive friction do you grow. You don't grow through good times. Why would you? When you're comfortable, you don't grow. You just want to be comfortable. You only grow through bad times. Did you get that? Rainbows only follow storms. Don't run from your problems. Run to your problems. Run through your problems. Go over it, around it, through it till you're going to get to it. Understand that if you're black or brown in America, you've been working so hard for so little for so long, you can almost do anything with nothing. You're an expert in survival. Now once you become an expert in survival, you've gone from an expert at being in surviving now to an expert in thriving, and no one can stop you but you. And don't let your anger destroy your spirit. Don't let your anger destroy your positivity. Don't let your anger destroy God's love within inside you. Don't let your anger get you unfocused from your dreams. Don't let your anger get you off track from where you're going. Don't let your anger hang around negative people who just want to bring you down. Don't let your anger act out on you that cause one little incident, one little moment to destroy your whole future by doing something stupid. This is the one-word series, these big black lips. The one-word series of the Civil Rights Movement. Unbought, unbossed, and unbiased. Coming to you straight and no chaser from Atlanta, Georgia, from my office where I'm spending a lot of time. Operation Hope is on the move, coming to a community near you. The Starbucks of financial inclusion, the Hope Inside locations inside of bank branches, grocery stores, big box retailers, houses of faith, government offices. You like my t-shirts and all that stuff. Increasingly, it's available on the website, on the John O'Brien Live and Facebook Live. You can buy mugs and t-shirts and quotes and things like that on that site. I'm donating books and donating all the proceeds to Operation Hope, so you don't think the money's coming to me. I love you much. I love you enough to tell it to you straight. I'll be back at you soon with a full voice. Bye.